So my On the Whistle report is currently sitting on PinkUn.com. It had a few rewrites and is probably incorrect in several places. Likewise, I missed the Norwich City late win against Derby here when they got promoted back in 2011. I was covering a Lowestoft game at the time, so I didn't get to experience that, but I feel like I might have had a little window into some of the feeling that was in that game. I know obviously the circumstances were slightly different, but this was quite remarkable at Carrow Road today, and I say that as someone who's been coming here since I was 8 in 1989, and you can do the maths over how long that is. Remarkable stuff. Norwich City winning 4-3. That's literally only the very tip of the sizable iceberg that we had here, because this was it's rare that you see a game sort of shift so much, but it really was a victim of its own circumstance in a lot of ways, and I'll try and break it down really quickly. Basically, Millwall played very well from the kick-off. They pressed Norwich high. They got the ball forward quickly, but they weren't so direct, and they got themselves ahead from pretty routine situations in terms of a free kick, which was quite soft. That was a running theme for referee Jeremy Simpson. Headed back across from Jake Cooper, who's already put in numerous assists like that over the course of the season, and Tom Elliott headed home from close range to give Millwall a half-time lead, as was. And Norwich had a goal ruled out for offside that still looks a bit scratchy. I'll try and see that tonight and tomorrow. And obviously Daniel Farke wasn't happy with that. And Norwich pushed hard, but I can't really remember anything else happened in the first half. I don't think anything really of note. Norwich came out for the second half. They came out before Millwall, which we haven't tended to see under Daniel. They like to take their time. It's about to start raining as well. That's good. But Norwich came out early, and also they came out firing, and they already appeared to have a bit more time and space as soon as the game got going again, and they were level after just 4 minutes of the second half. It was a beautifully worked goal as well from Anel Hernandez, playing in Marco Stiepermann on his return to the 11, and his cutback was dispatched ruthlessly by Teemu Pukki. Wonderful finish, most definitely of a man in form. Then, of course, routine penalty miss. Norwich have had 3 of those in their last 3 games, of course, which they've all won. So that's 3 wins, all coming regardless of missing a penalty. Quite remarkable set of circumstances. 3 different penalty takers as well. This time it was Pukki's turn. I think most people thought, well, this will be surely a goal. And I think he drove it quite hard and hit it quite true, but straight down the middle, a decent save by Ben Amos. And that did kind of knock the stuffing out of Norwich, because up until that point they were absolutely flying. That said, they kind of recovered their composure. Moritz Leitner gave them a lead with a wonderfully struck goal. I'm sure you'll be able to catch all these goals. Beautiful goal. And the crowd started singing, "We are top of the league." And literally within seconds, straight from the kickoff, I think it was a Jamal Lewis error. I haven't seen it properly. And Ryan Leonard popped in to make it 2-2. And then 2 minutes later, before realising it, Tim Krul's throw was cut out by Jeb Wallace, and he played a nice 1-2 with Steve Morrison, and it was 3-2. Millwall going absolutely nuts. Bear in mind they haven't won away from home all season. In fact, they've only picked up 2 points away from home, and they've got their own issues to contend with. So the 2 guys in the press box who from Millwall were very excited by this point. I can tell you, jumping up and down and all sorts. So that was 83 minutes. Norwich 3-2 down, having been 2-1 ahead. And it was really hard to describe the atmosphere, because once Norwich got going again, and obviously time was running out. Daniel Farke made a couple of changes, probably a bit late, but the nature of the way the game was swinging, understandable. 6 minutes of added time. Fair to say, in that added time, Norwich scored once, and there was a booking. So for my money, that's 7 minutes, and that's what the referees are told to do. So any complaints Neil Harris has about the second goal Norwich scored coming in +7, and it was before it got, because he's timed it himself, 36-35, I think he's. What was it? Hang on. It was 6 minutes 35 seconds of added time at the end that Neil Harris clocked it as Teemu Pukki scoring Norwich's eventual winner. So that was within 7 minutes. So Neil, you've not got an argument there. But wonderful ball from Emi Buendia into Jordan Rhodes, 8 yards out. Suspicion of offside, not seeing it again in that way, and from a good angle, left loads of room, slotted it home, 3-3. And I have to be honest, at that point there was a bit of me that was thinking, you know what, it's been such a nuts game. point there, don't concede again, because it could have happened the way that things were going. Let's see what happens. And then somehow, basically last kick of the game, I think Mario Vrancic played Teemu in, and I think Teemu dinked it over Ben Amos and into the net, and from that point on, Carrow Road went absolutely crazy. I've not heard a noise in there like that for years, and I don't even know if I'd be able to compare it, because these situations are always brilliant when you get a noise like that. It was something truly special, and even in the second half, the noise that was generated, the support inside this ground, it's so different even to when it was going well, and under Alec Neil. In a way, I don't really. There was a very different atmosphere to how Norwich were going about things, and how the crowd were accepting things. It's strange. There's sort of a purity about it at the moment, and maybe that's a cliche, but that's certainly how it feels. And as we all know, we've got such a long way to go, but just a phenomenal result. I don't really. It's so hard to put it into a context or into a coherent sentence at the moment, or a match report online, which is probably, as I said, littered with errors. But it says so much about what Norwich can go and achieve this year, obviously, that they can turn around a game like this regardless of all their faults. I said it to Moritz Leitner, who himself it was quite an awkward interview, because 12 minutes of it, and I think he was struggling to find the words himself in his second language. I think he would probably have struggled to find them in German, but I said to him, he said he believed in their football. The belief in their football and what they're trying to do is right, and they didn't change that. They kept going, they tweaked it, but they never changed what they were trying to do, Norwich. But so much of those last 10-15 minutes were not about the plan or how they were trying to play football or how they were trying to work things. It was almost just about belief and the stuff inside here that was driving them on. So when you've got that on top of good quality players and a well-coached and well-organised unit, then I think you're onto something that could be successful over the course of the season. As I've said before, and it's another game. That was a kind of a classic championship test, because Millwall offered Norwich a kind of unique set of circumstances given Millwall's plight, and I think what is quite openly they've antagonised Neil Harris in some way. He's clearly not happy, and with Norwich, and I think he really fancied ending a few bits and bobs and making a few points today, and the fact that it didn't happen in the end is quite something, and says as much for Norwich as anything. And as I record this, they are top of the league. Leeds are playing at the moment, and as I said last week, it doesn't really matter if they're not top of the league come the end of the weekend. They are where they are with 33 points after 17 games. They are on a phenomenal run of form, and the radar is beeping pretty hard now, especially given the heart and character that Norwich have showed tonight. Of course, it's a week in Tampa, and we'll have loads of coverage with you. Our lovely Dave Freezer, who wasn't here today, he's busy flying over to the States at the moment. So, in fact, he's not going to find this result out until late tonight. So, Dave, hope you enjoyed it. He's going to be in Tampa bringing us updates. That's on the new PinkUn app, which you can find if you search PinkUn in your App Store and Google Play. And, of course, there's loads of stuff over at PinkUn.com too, with the analysis and reaction. Warm weather week of training in Tampa, which you'll hear loads from. Then, of course, a week of preparation. Norwich have got a tough run after that. They go to Swansea and Hull in the space of 4 days to bring back the break. And then it's back here for Rotherham's visit, which is actually December. So that just sort of sums up just how far off in the future we are. But, there will be plenty of tough challenges. We will get to the point where we will know exactly how this league is shaping up. But in the meantime, what a phenomenal job Norwich City are doing. I think that's not particularly coherent, but that's probably where we are. The guys are watching. Are all happy?
Hey, yes.
Harvey's happy anyway, there you go. How about that? Loads of great performances. Emi Buendia continues to really impress. The way Teemu took his goals was fantastic. Defensively a bit scratchy at times, but maybe we'll forgive them for that, for the heart and endeavour they showed. Did I say the score? Norwich won 4-3, so there we go. 5 successive wins. Norwich are on 33 points, and as we record, just as that little dude said, Norwich are top of the league. Long may it continue, I guess that's what we say. Hurrah!
E-I-O, up the football league we go, where we win the title, this is what we sing. We are Norwich, Super Norwich, Parker is our king. E-I-O, E-I-O, up the football league we go, where we win the title, this is what we sing. We are Norwich, Super Norwich, Parker is our king. Hey!